Tegan and Sara, thank you guys for coming in. This is a huge day for you guys. We've been playing Closer, your new single, throughout the day as our new music discovery. Tonight, opening for the Black Keys.
Yeah, we've been kind of like nauseous with excitement / like terrifying horror for like weeks leading up to this, because this is a big show for us. Usually we would do a show like this, like opening for another band or, you know, some sort of like festival date, like 6 months into the record cycle, but instead we've been on tour for like a week. And so I'm pretty scared, like when I got up this morning to go in and have some breakfast in the Staples Center, and I was like being like frisked and wanded and like my bag checked. I was like, this is serious. This is like a serious show. So I feel really nervous and excited, but we're pumped. We're really feeling prepared, and we've got a good light show, and the Black Keys are awesome, and the audience has been so great so far. So.
And later in the tour, you guys are on the road with the Killers.
Yeah,
It's true.
So let's go to Black Keys. When were you guys first turned on to their music? I mean, you guys are both veterans in the industry now after, you know, over a decade, but
hundreds of years.
how were you guys turned on to that band?
I know that I feel like I loved the Black Keys like for quite a long time. I never would have assumed that we would have ever toured with them, though. Like, I mean, they were definitely like a band that I just really, really liked sort of from afar. And then I think we heard a couple of years ago, or read, somewhere that they were sort of maybe giving us a little props, or just saying that they liked us, you know, like whatever. And I remember thinking like, no way, the Black Keys know who we are. And so it's been a couple of years now, or a couple albums really now, that we've been familiar and been excited. And I've actually seen them play before. I got to see them on Saturday Night Live in the building. I was in the audience the night that they did SNL for this record, which was super
humble
cool.
brag.
It was a humble brag. It's I wasn't on SNL, you guys, but I was there in person.
Now, this is the first time getting out on an official tour for Tegan and Sara since when? Been a while, right?
It's been like a year and a half. I guess when we wrapped up our last record, Sainthood, it was a year and a half ago. So we've been writing and recording a new record, Heartthrob, which comes out in January.
Yeah.
And kind of just having a holiday, you know. I think the most important thing that an artist can do is live your life so that you have something interesting to write about, you know. So Sarah and I took a full year and a half to write and record and hang out and lay on our balconies and try to get a tan, you know, those kinds of things. Got haircuts, ate breakfast every day. You know.
And you guys have been living on opposite coasts.
We do, yeah, since 2002. We've lived on opposite
Sarah
coasts.
left Vancouver in 2002 to go to Montreal, and now she's living part-time in New York. And I am in Vancouver and then live part-time here in LA, actually. So we get around. We get a lot of space.
So do you guys like
We're
exchange
working both
songs telepathically?
Yeah.
You're like, all right, this is Closer. It's gonna start. Like, how does it?
We don't even use the internet. It saves us each $50.
Yeah, I don't even have to. No more internet fees. I just send it over the telepathic twin wave.
Do you guys talk every day, or how often do you guys talk when you're not together?
We don't necessarily get on the phone every day, but we have about 5,000 emails that we end up sending. So, I mean, our business is such a huge part of our relationship at this point, but we also, we did do lots of fun socializing this year as well. We had lots of major holidays to hang out.
And we do end up spending a lot of time, to actually seriously answer your question about writing and, working on songs and stuff. I mean, we don't do it telepathically, but Tegan does send me, as she's recording, she'll send me the songs, and as I'm recording ideas, I'm sending her songs, and we're working in a collaborative way that is very much in the future here. Like, we're not...
I think it's way more productive than being in person, too. Like, every time we get in person, we get distracted, you get talking, you're, looking at your phone, you're trying to meld your two schedules together, and it doesn't work. And
we also have very different writing styles. I'm much more methodical, and I like to be patient, and I'll spend a tremendous amount of time on something, whereas Tegan is a little bit more reactionary, and I find that our styles, when we are forced to sort of work together, that can cause a lot more conflict, and I think part of the maybe the
what Sarah's saying is that it's really annoying.
Well, it's annoying, but
we're annoyed by each other.
That was going to be my next question. Is I would imagine that it's nice to have both of your own creative spaces.
Yeah, that's what's the key to the success, is just to have your own space and not be on top of each other all the time, like at work and after work and whatever. And if I didn't have that space, we probably would have murdered each other at least 5 or 6 years ago.
I would have kicked Sarah out of the band.
Yeah, or fired each other.
I may not have gone so far as to kill her.
Let's talk about Heartthrob. What I know we're still a couple months out, but what can you tell us about that record and the process of making that?
Well, Sarah and I's intention was not to make something that sounded anything like anything we've done before, and so that was it. Sarah was just like, I want to make a record that is unrecognizable, but undeniably good. So
Mhm.
our intention was to pick the best songs, not get attached to, you know, a song just because we had an emotional attachment to it, but like to really pick songs that we thought were really great, you know, the things that we would want to sing along to. And I think we've had 2 very guitar heavy records, and this record we were like, okay, we don't need a guitar heavy record. Let's, you know, Sarah and I have 9 years of classical piano training, so we were like, let's write stuff on keyboard and
Mhm.
let's write piano stuff, and it kind of, so it ended up being a lot more poppy than I think we'd even intended. So the record really reflects, I think, a lot more of our 80s influences, and it reflects a lot more of our, you know, sort of piano like synth stylings. And
It's actually funny. So many people have been referencing this '80s thing, but I actually feel like it's a much more contemporary record in terms of the drums and the bass and stuff. Like I that was what was really what attracted me to Greg, is that I listened to a lot of. This probably seems really strange given what kind of music we make, but I listen to a lot of pop music. Like I really like that. I like big drums and bass. I like hip hop. I like R&B. So I wanted production that felt big out front and not from the guitars, like from the bottom end. And so I don't hear totally
Sarah
80s.
likes big bottom end.
Yeah, I like big bottom end. You know how.
So let's talk about Closer. What was the conception of that song?
Well, Sarah told me that she didn't want me to sing about crying, the fetal position, sadness, heartbreak. I was not to reference the word heart at any point.
Except the album.
Except I got that, and yeah, that was my idea. But I had a concept, so Sarah was into it. But yeah, I just was like trying to do something different and use a different voice. Sarah was like, you know, you want to rehash the past or reflect on your childhood or your youth or love or romance, but try to use a different voice. And as I looked back through our catalog, I'd never written a song that was romantic or even like remotely flirtatious or sexual in any nature. And I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to write a song that people want to make out to. So Sarah
Nice.
called it my Let's Get It On. But I don't know if it's that. Like the song, the intention is supposed to be like, you know, nostalgic. You're supposed to think back to like when holding hands or just like laying next to somebody was like kind of hot.
Closer is obviously on iTunes now. The new album Heartthrob in January.
Yep.
And then you go from like what 7 or so shows with Black Keys to touring with Killers.
Yeah.
Couple months
Killers.
with the Killers.
Yeah, we have like a couple days off, and then we head over to the UK, and then we'll be coming with the Killers through North America in December. So
That'll be great to see you guys through there, and you're always welcome at 98.7.
Oh,
Thanks for having
thank
us.
you.
Thank you guys for stopping by.